Now then, YouTube, back with another one. Gonna get straight into this. Let's see what it's about. It's about Birmingham. That's all I know.
I have contacts.
Tommy Shelby spent his whole life going up against the establishment. Bent coppers, fascists, people who took what they want from a city and then leave everyone else to clean up the mess. He would have an absolute field day with Birmingham City
I must have stopped watching Peaky Blinders a bit too early on then, because I don't remember any of that. I just remember him taking advantage. I don't remember him being a social justice warrior.
Council right now. Because here's what's happening on actual Birmingham streets right now in 2026 while everyone's re-watching the show. A 66-year-old woman in Sparkhill can't have her grandchildren over to visit. Rats. Rats that she says are bigger than the cats. Rats that turned up because her bins haven't been properly emptied for over a year. And here's the bit that will do your head in. The council, the same one that stopped collecting the bins, has introduced a charge for dealing with the rats. A charge that didn't exist before the bins stopped getting collected. And they've already put it up twice. And they're gonna do it again.
Birmingham is officially broke. The city council is effectively bankrupt.
Hey, I'm Andy, this is The Fine Print, and this is the story of how the biggest council in Europe bankrupted itself, created a rat problem, charged you to sort it out, and last month stood in front of a camera and said the crisis is over. Aha, sure thing, buddy.
The rodents are getting so brazen, they're scaring away the very agency workers brought in to try to clear up the city.
Naughty, naughty.
Okay, 2012. Birmingham City Council had a tribunal on their hands. Mainly women workers, carers, dinner ladies, teaching assistants. They had been paid less than men doing jobs rated the same value. For years. The tribunal went against the council. Birmingham started paying up. And between 2012 and 2023, they paid out £100 million in settlements. The liability was growing at up to 14 million a month. In 11 years, nobody senior resigned. No inquiry, no regulator stepping in. They just kept paying and the bill just kept going up. Then in 2022, on top of all of that, they launched a new IT system called Oracle. And this is supposed to replace their old finance and HR software. Budget, £19 million. Make a note of that number. It went live in April 2022. And for 18 months after Oracle went live, Birmingham City Council could not properly detect fraud. How convenient for them. Inside its own organization. They couldn't file auditable accounts. They couldn't track its own budget properly. Their savings delivery rate, so how much of planned cuts they were actually landing, dropped from 91% to 18%. Oh, and the Oracle bill? Well, 19 million magically became 100 million. And then 131. And then we're on to a projected 216 million pounds. Spending more to fix the system than the system was supposed to cost. Imagine buying a car for 10 grand, it breaks, you go back to the dealer and they say, yeah, tough luck, buddy, that'll be 100 grand, please. Who are these monkeys that allow this? Okay, September 2023, Birmingham City Council.
You want to be careful using that word, I think, given the, the ethnic makeup of Birmingham.
Issued a Section 114 notice, so effective bankruptcy. No new spending, and everything stops except keeping vulnerable people safe. Well, they blamed equal pay. I mean, that's what went out in the official announcement. The £760 million equal pay liability, the largest local authority bankruptcy in British history. And that's how every paper reported it. Researchers at Sheffield University spent months going through the cabinet papers, the audit reports, the financial planning documents, and their conclusion, the budget deficit that actually tipped Birmingham into bankruptcy had very little to do with equal pay. The real driver was Oracle. Their report called for a public inquiry, specifically asking whether the Oracle failure was deliberately played down by the people at the top, or whether it was the result of mismanagement, or even a deliberate strategy to deflect blame. Well, nobody's answering that question. So the bankruptcy happened, but what did that mean for the people in Brun? Council tax. 2024, up 10%, the maximum allowed, and that required special government permission to go above the cap. 2025, up 7.5%, above cap again. Special permission again. 2026 up another 5%. Band D council tax in Birmingham was about £1,750 in 2022. It is now £2,353, over £600 more every year. And that is for services that have now been cut. These people are paying more and getting less. Libraries, community centres, youth clubs, all gone. The Harborne Data Centre shut. A resident who'd fought to keep it open stood outside the budget meeting last month and said, "It is not great days ahead for people who have suffered from the cuts." And on the other side of the books, there's sell-offs. Since September 2023, Birmingham has sold over 1,000 publicly owned sites. So parks, community centres, industrial land, garages, old children's centres. Over 250 million raised so far. The Bordesley Green Wheels site sold to Birmingham City Football Club for £50 million. Now, 2 years before the bankruptcy, they had an offer for £80 million for the same site and the council said no. So they went bankrupt instead and sold it for £50 million at a loss.
This is insane to really think about. I don't have a lot to add because I'm not from Birmingham, and a lot of these numbers are just sort of, I don't know. They're just numbers at the minute. I don't have a lot of, I'm not able to put them fully into context. I mean, I can get that the spending more than what you were for less is not good, but at the same time, I don't know, it's not my way I would present content personally.
£30 million of Birmingham's money gone. But no one's been held accountable. Oh, and they are not done yet. Commissioners have ordered another $250 million worth of assets sold off by March 2027.
Yeah, and then this is an unfortunate thing, because these rats are only there because they stopped collecting the bins. So they've paid the council tax to get the bins collected. The bins weren't collected, and now they're getting charged to clean up the mess that they've caused, even though they've paid their council tax in the first place.
Tommy Shelby ran Birmingham from a boozer in Small Heath. The current lot run it from the council house in Victoria Square.
Can we stop mentioning?
And the people of Small Heath.
Can we stop mentioning this gangster? Like, the TV shows made him seem like he was probably a lot better than he really was. Although I do think Thomas Shelby wasn't a real person, but the Peaky Blinders were a real gang. But they weren't really anything to look up to. They were gangsters. They were still uncouth criminals taking advantage of the system. They weren't good guys. I don't know why we're trying to make out they were like sort of a Robin Hood figure. I mean, this guy's his content seems pretty good, but I'm not liking the way he's presented this video in terms of the information and where he keeps going back to talk about this fictionalized version of a real gang.
Sparkhill, Balsall Heath and Sparkbrook are living with what that looks like in practice. Right, so here is the chain of events. And keep up, because this one is something else. January 2025, the council announces changes to the waste service. Some workers are told their roles are getting cut. Others are looking at pay reductions of up to $8,000 a year. The union Unite disputes that. Talks break down, workers walk out. By March 2025, 17,000 tonnes of rubbish is sitting in Birmingham's streets. The council has declared a major incident. Recycling suspended. It's still suspended. That was 13 months ago. In April 2025, the government sent in military logistic plans.
I mean, this just reminds me of when Homer takes over Simpsons, spends all the money, and then they can't collect the bins. It's like the exact same thing. The Simpsons predicted Birmingham.
Planners to help coordinate the clear-up. Military planners for bins. You take the rubbish, you put it in the tip. How hard is that? How are you wasting so much money on that? Anyway, the rats moved in. Residents in Sparkhill, Small Heath, Balsall Heath, they all describe them as being bigger than the cats. One woman says she is frightened in her own home. Another says her neighbour can only get to her front door from the road because the bags are blocking the pavement. So at this point, you would think that the council throws everything at pest control, right? No. Instead, they introduced a new charge. Pest control for rats had always been free. It's part of the service, part of what your council tax was supposed to pay for. Just what the council did, you know. But after bankruptcy, £24 a visit. Oh, then £26.40. And now it's proposed to go up again to £27.60. A Tory councillor warned in the chambers of a, and I am quoting directly here, a golden decade for rats. A Labour councillor, Sam Forsyth, stood up mid-meeting and quit the party on the spot over the charge. This is her exact words. My opposition to the introduction of that charge is well known. I oppose that charge, and as of 10 minutes ago, I am no longer a member of the Labour Party.
Hooray!
That is someone watching.
That's somebody who knows what we're talking about, at least for that one sentence. Anyway, I'm pretty sure she said many things in the past.
Minutes ago, I am no longer a member of the Labour Party. That is someone watching what's going on and deciding she can't sit in the room and say nothing anymore. Alright, so let's be dead straight about what's happened. The council's decision to restructure the way service caused the strike. The strike caused the rubbish to pile up. The rubbish brought the rats. And now, the council is charging you to deal with the rats. If Tommy Shelby had pitched this as a protection racket, they would have laughed him out of the garrison. Oh, and here's something that didn't make the national news, but people across Birmingham have noticed and know it's true. The rubbish didn't pile up evenly now, did it? Sparkhill, Balsall Heath, Small Heath, Sparkbrook, Ladywood. Streets became proper unlivable. Kids had to be kept inside. One resident said that she's embarrassed to live in her own area and can't have her grandkids round because of the state of the street. Harborne? Edgbaston? Oh, situation's a bit different there now, isn't it? Much better. A University of Birmingham researcher confirmed the pattern. In Ladywood, already one of the most deprived wards in the country, there's a £2.2 billion regeneration project that would knock down large parts of the estate. The first public meeting was so oversubscribed, hundreds of residents got turned away at the door. Someone asked the developer straight, all right, how many affordable homes are actually going to be built? The answer, we do not have an absolute number. A retired head teacher who lived in Ladywood his whole life told the committee, confidence is not just low, it is collapsing. What residents see is delay upon delay, silence where there should be clarity. A resident called Laura said she's had nightmares about her home being flattened. The council elections are roughly 5 weeks away. Every seat in Birmingham is up. Last week, on the 1-year anniversary of the all-out strike, Unite the Union put out a statement. A resolution to the dispute has been put together by ACAS. Now, ACAS is the government's own arbitration service. They're independent, official, they're the guys that have been set up specifically to sort out exactly this kind of mess. There is a deal on the table right now. Birmingham City Council has not agreed to it. They could fix this and they're choosing not to. And what's worse is they've also not rejected it outright. They've not said what they think is wrong with it. They haven't publicly responded to it. So they're just dragging this out at £50,000 a day of your money. All while recycling stays suspended for 13 months and counting, while people are living with rats. There is a deal at ACAS and the council won't look at it. The bin strikers cost the public purse, you, over £33 million. On the day of the...
Well, people from Birmingham, it's not come out of my tax money. I'm not from there. But I understand what you're saying now. If you talk to people in Birmingham, it's got to be a bit of a slap in the face, this, to be honest. Paying for a service, not getting it, then I've been made to pay for more services to cover the services that you paid for in the first place.
1-year anniversary, Unite cut its annual donation to the Labour Party by $580,000. That is 40%. And the reason they gave, Birmingham. This is a Labour council backed by a Labour government running a legal campaign against workers whose conditions it created, while charging those same workers to deal with the rats it caused. February 3rd, 2026, council leader John Cotton makes an announcement. The council is no longer under Section 114 notice. Thanks to the decisive, tough actions we took, the bankrupt Birmingham tag is now a thing of the past. Well, 3 weeks later, he stands at the budget meeting and proposes a council tax rise of 5%. now pushing for 10%. And that is after 10% in 2024, after 7.5% in 2025, all while cutting services and selling public property. And last week, it was confirmed that Oracle, the IT system that helped cause the bankruptcy, is still broken. The April fix deadline has been pushed back to July. They are going into a citywide election on the 7th of May without working accounts. So what does no longer bankrupt actually mean? The legal notice is lifted. That part is true, technically. The budget gap has been closed through cuts, tax rises, and selling the city off. But Oracle's still broken. The bins are still not being collected properly. Recycling hasn't happened for over a year. The rat charge is going up. The sell-offs are running into 2027. And your council tax, which was $17.50 in 2022, is now £2,353. So no, not bankrupt fiscally, maybe technically, but completely bankrupt morally. And by order of the Birmingham.
Oh my days, he's doing it again. I'm out. I am out. Right, okay, I'll give him a subscribe because I like the editing and maybe some of his other videos are a bit better. But this, in my opinion, this wasn't a very good video. But I mean, please go check this video out yourself and watch it. Mine is not a replacement for it. And give him a subscribe. You know, certainly done some research. I just think maybe the presentation needs to be altered. It's not great. But I'm going to leave it here for now anyway. See you later.